Hello neighbor, this is Curt at Etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Benton Shifts and Grins 2-bike carrier on a 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Now the Benton Shifts and Grins bike carrier can accommodate 2 bikes at 55 pounds apiece. The wheelbase is adjustable back and forth underneath the cradles here. So you can accommodate up to a 48-inch wheelbase. The cradles are wide enough that you can accommodate up to 4-inch tires, and they're curved in a way that you can go up to a 29-inch wheel diameter. Now we're going to brace the bike to the carrier using this arm and hook right here. So we could do that either by going around the tire itself, or it'll adjust up enough that we could also put it on the frame. So if you have a specialty paint job on your bike or it's a carbon bike, we have the ability to wheel mount it. If your bike has fenders, it could also be adjusted to go on the frame. And it actually makes for a pretty solid hold here for the bike to the carrier. Now one of the really great things about this bike carrier as well is that with a hatch door as we have a tilt feature here. We're simply going to push this button in and lower it down as such. Now that we have that, we're going to have full access to our hatch area here. We're not going to be in any danger of interfering with the bike or the rack itself. It actually gives us plenty of room to sit down, change our shoes, get some extra water, anything we need to do before we hit the trail. Now the Jeep Grand Cherokee L is already a really long vehicle. So it's a good idea to know just how much more this is adding to the back for any of those times that you're going into a parking space or backing up anywhere. So we're going to take a quick measurement of how much more this adds on from the bumper. And from the bumper, this is going to add on about 34¼ inches. So that's something we're going to want to keep in mind, again, as if we're backing into anywhere or if we're pulling into a parking spot. Now, some people might be concerned if they do a lot of inclines, maybe you have a high incline driveway, if this is going to bottom out. Now, the hitch on the Jeep Grand Cherokee L actually does sit pretty high off the ground. So this may not be an issue for most people, but just for peace of mind, it's going to be 18½ inches off the ground from the lowest point here. And from the furthest point, it's going to be 25¼ inches off the ground. But when it comes to how high this bike rack sits, I think the concern most people will have is just how high do I need to lift my bike in order to get it into the cradles? And for that measurement, we're going to go directly to the cradle here. And from the cradle on down, we're looking at a measurement of 29½ inches. So if you have some e-bikes, which can be a little bit heavier, you should really keep that in mind if you're considering this bike rack. Now, we mentioned before that this bike rack sits a little bit higher in the hitch on this particular vehicle, the Grand Cherokee L. One of the concerns you may have is your visibility. I mean, just how much can you actually see around this? Of course, the liftgate window is going to be partially blocked. You might have some concerns with also seeing the brake lights or reverse lights or turn lights back here as well. And what we found is that, of course, there is going to be some blockage, but depending on the type of wheels that you have, you should be able to see those brake lights pretty clearly. The other concern you might have is your rear view camera. Now, of course, you are going to have some interference with that as well. You may have an alert that you need to turn off whenever you reverse because it may constantly beep at you by detecting something back here. But we found that depending on, again, on the type of wheels that you may have, that you actually can get a pretty good view out of the back with it that should assist you with parking because we have all that extra length added to the vehicle. Now, the wheels are attached to the cradles using this 18-inch long strap. Having an 18-inch strap is good because that also is going to help us accommodate those wider up to 4-inch tires we talked about earlier. Now, it's ratcheted in. There is a rubber pad here that's going to help protect the wheel of your bike as well. But we're simply going to compress that button, slide this all the way out, and we're going to come over and repeat that process on the front tire. Okay. Once we have the wheels unstrapped, we're going to come to our arm here. We're going to hold on to the frame to sturdy it, depress this button, and slide upwards. Once we get it up high enough, we're able to move it out of the way and remove our bike from the rack. Now, the Benton Shifts and Grins bike rack does not offer a security feature such as a lock core that's going to lock the arms down on your bike and deter any thieves from making off with it. But it does come in a fold-up position. So there are going to be times that you might want to run around town without your bikes and at the same time not want to install the bike rack. So to do that, after our bike is removed, we're going to recommend that you ratchet down the straps rather than leaving them loose, and use one of the straps to secure the arms so that they don't flop around loosely either. This way everything is tight in the rack and you don't have to worry about any loose pieces. Now, once you have that taken care of, all you simply need to do is use the same Benton button that we used to do the tilt down feature. We're just going to be putting it in an upright position until we hear that loud click. The button's going to pop back out at that point, and now we're in a stored position. Now, while it's like this, you may wonder what the clearance is going to be behind now. So from the bumper to the end of it in the stored position is going to be just a hair over 20 inches. So you're still going to have a good amount of room behind you, but being as long as the Jeep Grand Cherokee L is, it is good to be conscious, even in the stored position, of just how much room you've got behind the vehicle. Now let's go ahead and remove the bike carrier so we could show how it works in a stored position. Now, anything we're doing at this point when you're installing it, of course, we're just going to be doing it in reverse order. Now, one of the great features about this bike rack is it does come with a built-in hitch alignment collar. And what that means is that once you initially install this in your hitch with the location of the hitch pin, you'll be able to move this collar by loosening it up, moving it back and forth. Once you get it lined up here, you'll be able to install this without any issues and have the hole for the pin lined up perfectly every time. But to remove the pin, we're going to take our 3/4 inch socket and we're going to go ahead and take it off from right here. Now, I just wanted to show you very quickly the anti-rattle hitch bolt that comes with the Benton Shifts and Grins. You'll notice that it is flat on one side. This actually helps this anti-rattle pin in order to insert it one-handed. It actually helps to guide it through and make sure it's aligned properly. Now we'll go ahead and, since we have everything disengaged, we'll go ahead and remove it. And while I've got this off, I wanted to talk a little bit about this other item that we've got on here. Now, the anti-rattle hitch pin that comes with it, like most hitch pins with bike racks, really helps with side-to-side movement and keeping vibrations from going too much in that direction. This is the Etrailer anti-rattle hitch collar. And what this is going to do is really eliminate a lot of that vertical movement that you're going to get out of hitch carriers and bike racks. It works very simply by going around your 2x2 inch hitch and tightening down right through this device here. In which case, it's going to engage from the top right corner here and really just tighten everything down inside of the hitch receiver. Now, the Benton Shifts and Grins is a 2-bike carrier. However, I want to let you know that if you've got a vehicle like this, you've probably got several family members that might be going on these trips with you. You may need to carry up to 4 bikes. There is a 2-bike add-on to this that you could purchase separately right here at Etrailer. And if you were skeptical about the anti-rattle hitch collar for the 2-bike, you were definitely going to need it for the 4-bike. It's only going to be adding more weight further out from the vehicle, so that leverage further out from the hitch collar is going to be adding more vibration. I would definitely say this is a device you'd want to pick up with any bike carrier or hitch accessory. Now, one of the other great features about the Benton Shifts and Grins is that it has a really nice storage position as well. so that you can fold it up and get it into a corner of a garage or basement or wherever you want to keep it. Now, in order to make that happen, we're going to simply lift this pin up here, and we're going to depress that square Benton button at the same time, and it will fold down into a stored position, just like so. It'll store really easily up against a wall, like I said, in the basement or garage, and keep it out of the way until you're ready to install it and head out on your next adventure. So there's a look at the Benton Shifts and Grins 2-bike carrier on our 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Now, I think this is a fantastic option because of all the tilt-away features and everything we get out of this, specifically for the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. The one thing that might hold some people up is the height of the carrier itself. If that's not going to be an issue for you, this really does check all the boxes that you might be looking for as far as getting a really nice bike carrier for your Jeep Grand Cherokee L. If you have any experience with Benton accessories or this Benton Shifts and Grins bike rack, please share them in the comments below. We always like to hear about your experiences so we could share them with our other neighbors and help them make the best decision for them. Once again, this is Curt at Etrailer. Thanks for stopping by.